Hi everybody, this is Tani Sofia Acosta, and I'm here to share with you some new content for today. So first of all, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're in good health, and today is a new month. It's September 1st. So I just want to actually share something more personal that I haven't shared before. And so what I'm going to discuss is self-care, and I'm going to discuss my own self-care. So broadly stated, I read an article from this psychological group called Willowstone. And basically the article is saying, and I'll post the article in the bio section about this, it was basically saying there are 8 types of self-care. And so what those 8 types are physical self-care, emotional self-care, social self-care, spiritual self-care, personal self-care, home environment self-care, financial self-care, and work, school, caregiving, or other responsibilities. So that seems like a lot of self-care, but it's actually putting together things that we just normally do, or normally things about our life that we have to be attentive to make our lives work, to make things work for us. But more specifically, today I want to talk to you about something that occurred with me. And it would be under the heading of physical self-care. And so a definition of physical health care would be this type of self-care has to do with feeling physically well and maintaining your physical health. So some things related to that would be, getting good sleep and rest, to exercising, stretching, walking, and exercise that does you good or feels good. It would have to do with keeping and maintaining medical appointments, caring for yourself medically, eating good foods, and maybe engaging nature, getting fresh air, sunshine if it's possible where you're living. So for myself personally, I started August with the desire to put out videos every day, to put out content every day related to some of the work that I'm doing as a hypnotherapist. And during this process, one of my big issues came up, which dealt with physical self-care. So in July, I was going through some physical, like your physical with your physician. And I had what's called a wound that wasn't healing. And it was a wound on my leg, and it really wasn't healing. So first I tried to see what we would call like a doc in the box, like one of these quick care places. And they prescribed some antibiotics and gave me some ointment for it, but helped a little bit, but didn't seem to do much. And then later, I followed up about a week later with an appointment with my regular primary care physician. And he looked at it and he's like, oh my gosh, because it was about the size of a quarter. It was on my shin, but it was kind of deep. And what my physician first said, he's like, well, first of all, it's underneath a vein and it's not getting proper circulation to heal right. And second, he's like, I'm going to have to refer you to a specialist or a wound care specialist. So eventually I got referred to a wound care specialist who looked at this. And that's where it got interesting, so to speak. So he looked at it and he made a quick evaluation, but he said, what we need to do tomorrow, as soon as possible, we need to do a biopsy on this. And I was like, a biopsy? What is it? And he just said this with confidence, this looks like cancer. Okay, so when you hear that big C word, cancer, that's a really, really scary word. It was scary for me too. So really what ensued is I got the biopsy, it came back, and of course during this time period I'm trying to manage this. And a little bit of me is in denial, like, oh, I got this, I'm good. So, long story short, the biopsy came back positive for cancer. I followed up with my doctor, or the wound care specialist, I should say, and basically what he confirmed was this is a type of cancer many of you have heard. It's called basal cell carcinoma, which is one of the more slow-moving, least life-threatening forms of skin cancer. thankfully. But in retrospect, obviously, if you can see me, I'm fair complexion. I have spent the greater time of my life outdoors. I've spent it sailing since I've been 6 years old, and as well, I grew up in the beach area. So those aren't great things when it comes to care for your skin. So one thing that I have to add to my care routine is sunblock. That said, on August 15th, I had to have surgery to remove this cancer from my leg. And what turned into a 2-hour procedure turned into a 3.5 hour procedure, because what it turned out, there was a lot of stuff to remove. And so that was successful. It removed everything. There's no more cancer, no more negativity, or negativity. There's no more poison. Cancer is kind of like a poison. And so there's none of that in my body. And now what surprised me is I again had to go through a healing process. And many of us, myself included, sometimes aren't the best part, because we want to get I wanted to get a surgery, rest for a couple days, and then just go right back into charging into my life at full speed ahead. But realistically, the surgery was way more than we thought. Second, though I'm very good, I've been through many surgeries, I'm very good at my own personal pain management. For some reason, this one was painful. It hurt. It was right on my shin. So anytime I walked, anytime I did any movement with my leg, it really hurt. Third, I needed time for recovery. So in my time for recovery, I actually really stopped doing videos for a while and let myself heal better. I am still healing from this surgery, but I'm in a lot better place, and I'm in a lot less pain than I was, 15 days ago. So I think one thing, should you ever need a surgery, number one, you need somebody to help you with the surgery itself, taking you there, taking you back, and taking you through the initial stages of recovery. Number two, us as a patient, we're going to go through a recovery process. And in that recovery process, our body has to heal. So we need good food, lots and lots of rest, and we need not to be doing our life what it was. We need to give our body time to heal properly. And that's the part that I struggle with. And so in this time period, I had to take a break from doing the videos. I also had to take a break to let myself deal with all the emotions that came with this. Just being presented with the big C word, the big cancer word, that was a big deal. It was much more than I thought. As well, the surgery was much more than I thought. And as well, being patient in the recovery was much more than I thought. So we have to give ourselves those times. So on the one hand, I'm sharing that I really haven't done as much content that I intended, because I really needed to take care of myself. On the other hand, I just really wanted to offer these words about self-care and how important self-care is. And it has these other components, like I mentioned, the 8 different ways, which we don't need to go into all. I can cover some of those later, which it seems like a long list of caring we have to do, but really it's navigating things in our life in a way that is healthy and in a way that we are healthy. And really, if you think about priorities, if you are not healthy, it's hard to have a happy life. So really, having great care of oneself is one of the most important things you can do. So I think for many of us, especially in the LGBTQ plus communities, there's a lot mentioned about mental well-being, okay, and being attentive towards that, which is extremely important. But I think also these other modes of self-care are very important. And in my case, because I'm at times in such a hurry to do all these other things, that I had to take a break. I had to take care of myself, and I had to allow myself to recover properly. Some of that healing is still in process, but I'm in a point now where some of the other things have gone far enough that I can return to making videos. But I just wanted to share with you this, because our health is everything. If we're not healthy, it is so hard to have a happy life. So with that, I leave you in health and self-care, and thank you for listening to my video. Thank you. Bye-bye.